Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. We've got some events coming up this week with Stellar Fortuna and stuff. We've got Alpha 4.1 that's returned to Wave 1 PTU after being taken down over the weekend, which had some updates as well. So they've added some more ships to the shop and a load of other stuff. And we've had some dev responses to item recovery as well. So let's jump into that, starting with the This Week in Star Citizen post from CIG. The battle for control rages on in the aftermath of the fight for Pyro. With resources dwindling and enemies closing in, every decision could mean the difference between survival and defeat. Jump into the action and support your faction, deliver vital resources in the ongoing Supply or Die global event, and earn exclusive rewards. More missions mean more gains. On Wednesday, get ready to shamrock and roll. Stellar Fortuna is here. Join the festive shenanigans across the verse, add a splash of green to the star systems, and compete for sweet prizes in our upcoming community contest. Also, we're going to have the latest roadmap update on Wednesday, hopefully giving us some more details of what's going on with 4.1 and beyond. This Thursday, Inside Star Citizen returns with a look at the performance capture process and some of the work being done to support the ongoing narratives in the persistent universe. We know that Jared had recently shaved his face, and I suspect it was because of that. For the weekend, it's off to the races. On Saturday at 6 PM UTC, it's time for the System 7 qualifiers. Join the fun and watch on Atmo Esports' Twitch or YouTube channel as teams compete for one of the 16 coveted spots in the main event later this month. On Sunday, we have the Crew Cup celebrating its 10-year anniversary. Anzia Racing is hosting a series of high-stake races. Next up are the Open GP races. That's 10 AM UTC on Sunday, featuring 3 classes of race, open, Aurora, and heavy. You can watch on their Twitch if you are so inclined. Star Citizen Alpha 4.1 has gone back to Wave 1 PTU. It was taken down over the weekend due to some instability. The testing focus for this patch is currently stability and bug fixes, the Orison and Area 18 new player experience, the tutorials there, Whiteclaw Banu collector missions, and there is a Banu in-game kind of, which you can see on your little comms, hologram of him at his Cloud Imperium. Also testing out the Tier 0 item recovery system, ground vehicle and FPS mining updates, where they've separated sort of FPS minables and vehicle minables into separate things and added a load more. There's that new set of event missions. CIG did also say that there's additional missions updated for meshing and vault weapons that are not ready for testing or feedback yet. The build contains further location art and animation and audio polish, as well as balance changes and flow blocking fixes for the Hathor locations and event. This event will utilize 2 new locations in the persistent universe, the Hathor platform alignment facilities on the ground and the Hathor orbital laser platform. I believe there are 3 alignment facilities on the ground tied to each of the orbital laser platforms, and you've got to go and get key cards to break into the deeper elements and deeper areas of those facilities, which you can get at those locations, and then you take batteries up to the orbital laser platform, as well as aligning each of the satellite dishes at those locations as well. And then other stuff happens. I haven't actually gone through and played it all yet. I'm not sure if it's actually all available to play. Some other feature and gameplay additions here. Shopkeeper and civilian AI at derelict settlements now have pistols to help defend themselves. Multiple new Ninetales FPS AI loadouts with new variations have been added. There are different visuals for mount variations of hand and ground vehicle minables. They've increased energy cannon max ammo load from 15 to 25. That's actually quite a big change. Excitingly, they've added a load more ships to the in-game ship store. So you've got the Argo CSV SM, which is available for 378,000 Alpha UEC. The Crusader Intrepid, 705k, the Anvil Terrapin Medic, 5.7 million, the Murai Pulse LX 212k, and the RSI Lynx 136k. They're all available at Lorville, except the Terrapin Medic, which appears to only be available at the moment anyway, at Area 18. The Intrepid is also available at Orizon. Obviously, costs and locations could change before live. Components have been added to the in-game shops as well. They've added various size 0 mining lasers to the shops. What else? Vulture Tractor Beam. They've added Rock and Rock DS mining pods, mineral storage to shops. I think they're 1.2 and 3 SCU respectively, but you can grab those pods and put them on your ship when they're full, and then put a new one in, which is pretty cool. Arena Commander. They've added the Crossroads of Crime map in free flight and elimination modes. We talked about this last time, basically saying that more of those theaters of war assets and maps are being available for reasons. Tank Royale and Team Elimination are now active by default and are available on the Crossroads of Crime map. There's a load of potential bug fixes here as well. Caterpillar cargo doors not staying deployed potentially has been fixed. Let me just actually read you all the problems that have potentially been fixed. Standing up from the 400i seat pushed the players out of the ship. Collect emissions. A number of items were not being resolved correctly. Prospector was invulnerable from damage on the rear side of the ship. Many Hornet variants weight balance made its rear engine tilt downwards. Players were able to loot account bound items that they weren't supposed to be able to by pressing the take all button. Orbital laser impact VFX was offset based on planetary rotation. The Aegis Hammerhead was not correctly balanced and tilted when landing in the personal hangar. The P-72 weight balance made, again, its rear tilt downwards. Security guard AI wildlines would play constantly, no matter the distance of where you were. The Hathor dish control terminals wouldn't reset after the event. They fixed 2 client crashes and 4 server crashes, as well as a server deadlock. There are still a variety of known issues with the patch, a load of them from the previous patch, including transit gateways getting stuck, PvP missions not working, common array missions disappearing, issues with stowing and unstowing ships, and angry invading asteroids and jump tunnels, but also they've had to disable the laser damage from a certain point of the new event at Hathor for reasons. Item recovery. Players respawn without their loadout when holding bound items upon respawn, and can lose their previous equipped loadout upon leaving Klesha Rehabilitation Facility. I've noticed I've got a huge frame drop by about 20 frames at the moment, and my GPU isn't spinning up properly. It's sort of not spinning up its clock speeds. Seems to work really well in 4.0.2, but not great in 4.1. You can potentially expect more waves of the PTU later this week. This is going to be a March release for 4.1, at least that's the plan. You can also potentially expect more stuff to carry over progress-wise, like with contested zone items and that sort of thing. I saw some updates as well regarding plans and feedback on the Tier 0 item recovery system. The thread that I saw this on was Tier 0, a simple fix for both worlds, where the original poster here suggests some changes, fixes, a middle ground for the Tier 0 item recovery system. So they say, the recent changes bringing in Tier 0 item recovery, while controversial at first, has had some interesting consequences. Most notable on this is the new meta of railguns and grenade launchers becoming the norm. Just load up a full loadout of mags on the chest and you're good to go. This high-powered weapon meta can make the slaughter even worse and cause more issues for PvE and PvP players alike. Let's be honest, many of us are less bothered about losing weapons as they are easily bought or looted across the verse. It was all the subscriber armor many wish to save. With this in mind, why not let us to once again loot weapons, med guns, med pens, and more off the armor, but allow people to keep their armor? This solves both problems and is a win-win to both sides. Thoughts? So the OP also pinged Zach Priest, who responded here. They said, hey, I appreciate the viz ping, but just to be clear, this isn't my feature, but the designer owner is reading your feedback on Spectrum. But just wanted to clarify some things on the FPS side in relation to this. We are looking into some things such as adjusting the power of the grenade launcher and having the grenade launcher mags not respawning with the player. Grenade launcher mags are also going to be heavily reduced in terms of capacity in shops. We will monitor how popular the grenade launcher is, nerfing its power, mainly hit-causing knockdowns, but also we spoke about default removing the ammo inside the grenade launcher, so when you respawn with it, you don't have free ammo. There's plenty of options here. I'm not concerned from a balance point of view, as I have many options to adjust the power of the grenade launcher. I want to keep an eye on the balance of the rare contested zone weapon attachments. We're aware they're spawning in bunkers and such as well, and they shouldn't be, but we're also going to be looking at those contested zone weapon attachments and things and seeing how they're affected by respawning. Things like railgun mags also do not respawn with the player currently, but balance-wise, I have a close eye on this and I'm monitoring. Yeah, from CIG's point of view, they can actually adjust the meta pretty easily when it comes down to this sort of stuff. If it's just a silly railgun grenade launcher fest, they'll just go, well, let's make these less powerful, let's make them super expensive, let's make them harder to use, let's make it so you can't zerg with them. There was another reply on that thread from a poster. Bummed to see the weapon attachments are supposed to only be found in the contested zones. They don't seem particularly worth locking solely behind PvPvE content. Zach Priest responds again. They were something I made fairly late into the patch cycle because I wanted to spice up some of the weapon meta and give some fun new ways to play, like the Sniper Kana, and give more reasons to go into the contested zones. That's why we don't have new art, but I'd like to do something like this more and rotate things in and out to spice things up FPS wise, but I'm too busy with Worm currently, sadly. That's oh lordy, they're coming. Another post on this thread. Who knew the developers had additional levers to pull to mitigate all the mountains made out of molehills? Whatever will we complain about now? All these lit torches and sharpened pitchforks and nowhere to march on. Zach again responds here. It's a valid concern. The community's responses and concerns give us, as devs, a bit more ammo to get to spend time on these things since we're always busy with our upcoming work. It allows us to be flexible. I get to spend some time away from my current priorities to address feedback. This is one of the nice things about working at CIG. I get to raise concerns about things like the grenade launcher to directors without having a huge chain of people to go through, as I can just have a conversation with people like Rich and mention the community's concern. He has already been made aware and has already had some suggestions. He's very on the ball with this sort of stuff, which as someone who works under him is really great. The solution to these things can sometimes be obvious, but it's just about acting on those things while considering how much time they take away or would eat up. In this case, it's fairly simple since it's just tuning some values. So I get to do some FPS balance work because of it, which is nice. The back and forth with backers is important, and how engaged backers are is one of the best things about this project. I really liked Zach's response there. I think that was absolutely great. I'm really interested to know if you've been playing any Alpha 4.1 and what your experiences of that patch are so far. Are you expecting anything exciting for Stellar Fortuna happening starting this Wednesday? Are these new narrative events, the new content, new missions, the fact there's a Banu kind of in-game now, is that exciting for you? Do you think this patch will get out by the end of March? It should do, but I'm interested to know if people think it's going to actually be live by then. Do you think they're going to fix a load more of the problems, bugs, performance issues, stability stuff by the time this patch goes live? Whatever your thoughts or questions, I would love to hear from you in the comments down below. Another reason to comment is every month we have a ship giveaway, and for March we are giving away a Super Hornet Mark II with Heartseeker kit. It also comes with lifetime insurance and a game package. It was kindly given to us by CIG. Just comment on any of my videos made during March to be in for a chance of winning that. Something else that might feel like winning, getting NordVPN, nordvpn.com/BoredGamer, or use the links below. Massive discount to get yourself a VPN that will help protect your privacy, give you some better securities, and help you with accessibility of your interwebs as well. I love NordVPN. I find it very useful. It helps support the channel, people buying it. We've got things like Toby Eye Tracker in the links below as well. If you want some precision head and eye tracking for Star Citizen and some other games, I heavily recommend it. If you want to further support the channel, there's the join button. You can like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. It all helps out loads, as does Patreon, whatever. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your March and an eventful Alpha 4.1. Yeah, tell us in the comments below about all that sort of jazz. I will see you in the verse.